Sonny Gray dominates, and the Cardinals offense has some fun at the expense of the Detroit Tigers.
You are Locked On Cardinals, your daily St. Louis Cardinals podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey there, Cardinals fans. I'm JD Hafford, and I'm your host for Locked On Cardinals, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, covering your team every day. Follow me on X at JD Sports Radio. The podcast also on X at LO_Cardinals. We're on YouTube. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. Hit that notification button so you don't miss out on any of the new episodes or the shorts that we might put out there for you. Also available on TikTok and Instagram at Locked On Cardinals. This is a show serving Cardinal Nation and giving the best fans in baseball all of the info about the birds on the bat. My man Thomas Govain from RedbirdRants.com is back with us here in his normal Tuesday slot. And even though you didn't get a win on Sunday when you and the family went out to see the Cardinals and Royals play at Kauffman Stadium, at least I hope you guys had some fun in the sun on Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, it was in the sun for sure. It was a good time. I think my son's starting to troll me. The entire way in and out of the stadium, he's chanting, "Let's go Royals." So that needs to be fixed pretty quickly. I know it broke my heart as Cardinals. That's what we are.
Well, eventually we'll see the light. I mean,
I think he did it just to bother me and poke at my skin a little bit. But
he's at that point in his life where he's just trying to make dad upset. It happens from time to time. But he's got some time to correct his wrongs. A little over 25,000 announced for that game on Sunday in KC, Monday night in St. Louis. Two of the hottest teams in the league, one who has the best record in baseball, played in front of what I'll be generous and say a scattered crowd at Busch Stadium. Announced attendance was over 24,000. But despite this great matchup between the Cardinals and the Tigers, still a lot of empty seats at Busch Stadium. I'm kind of hoping that, when school is done, weather gets a little more consistent in St. Louis. It's supposed to be a good night tonight, that the fans will begin to trickle in a little bit more because the Cardinals are taking care of business, Thomas. They're taking care of business on their side of things after blasting Detroit 11-4. Clearly, the offense was solid. We will get to that, but I want to start with Sonny Gray because he was outstanding. 6 innings, no runs, 10 strikeouts. He improved to 17-1 with the Cardinals when they give him 3 runs or more of support. The 10 strikeouts, first time he's done that in 2025, but the fourth time he's done it in a Cardinals uniform. It's his 18th double-digit strikeout game of his career, and this was coming off a really ugly game in Philadelphia. The Cardinals did get the win in that game, but it was not a good day for Sonny Gray or Aaron Nola. The ball was flying in Philly that night, but he bounces back in a major way. Your thoughts on Sonny Gray's performance last night against Detroit?
Yeah, he was dominant. He had his strikeout pitches under control. He went into the 6th inning with 7 strikeouts, and then all 3 batters. I think it was Pitching Ninja had a video up of that on Twitter. I mean, every pitch he threw was right where he wanted it. He was in control the whole game. He looked really good. Good bounce back start after the game against the Phillies last week. Aaron Nola had a bad game that day too, so maybe it's just something in the air between the two teams and the offenses. But it's good to see Sonny be this dominant once again.
Yeah, and let's give the Phillies a little bit of credit here. It's pretty good offense.
A little bit. Yeah,
so there are going to be nights that they're going to hit the crap out of the ball, and it just so happened to be Sonny Gray was on the mound that night. Left a lot of balls hanging over the plate. It was just missing over the heart of the plate. It's going to happen from time to time. It's happened to Sonny a couple of times already this year, but Ethan Hannaford from KMOX posted this on X that Sonny Gray's ERA in starts after his rough outings, which they're 3 of them pretty much so far this year. His ERA in the games following those 3 starts is 0.47. And that is just the sign of a pro that, when you have a bad night, and this is what separates professional players from everyday people, is that they are able to separate a bad night and just move on. They wipe the slate clean. They don't dwell on it. They come back, they face the next opponent, new day, new game, open mind, and hopefully fix whatever it was that was wrong in their last outing. Sonny Gray is always going to have his enemies out here on the social media streets. Like, they're never not going to be there. They're always yelling about, oh my gosh, he's not a number 1. He's not an ace. And that's fine. You don't have to call him that. You call him whatever the hell you want. It's fine if it bothers you that much. But look at the numbers so far this year, Thomas. He's now 5-1 on the season. All right. third highest win total in Major League Baseball. Only 3 pitchers have more wins than him in the National League. Do you have any idea who they are? I'm just throwing this at you. We did not prepare for this whatsoever.
Wins
Any
in the
idea?
National League. Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
Wins in the National League.
It's tough. The reason why I asked is because it's tough, all right? Brandon Pfaadt from Arizona.
Nope, not on my list. Nope.
Well-known number 1 ace, right, in Arizona. Leads the league with 7 wins right now. Has the most wins in all of baseball. You've got Robbie Ray, who had, the Cy Young Award a couple of years ago and having a very nice season with the Giants right now. You're familiar with him. And then Jorge Lopez from the Washington Nationals, who is a relief pitcher, mind you, with an ERA close to 7, but somehow, some way, has got 6 wins on the season so far. And then there's Sonny Gray and a bunch of other guys with 5 wins. So he's 7th in the National League in strikeouts. His whip is top 15 in the National League. Ace or not, he's doing what he's supposed to do, and that's giving this team a chance to win on most nights, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. And he seems to have his touch on his sweeper back. He got 45% whiff rate last night on it. That was a good looking pitch too. Mm-hmm. You're not going to get 7 innings, 6 innings, 1 or 2 earned runs every night from a guy. They're going to have bad starts. What's key, especially with the top of the rotation guy, like you just said, is can he bounce back? And Sonny Gray has proven time and time again that he can do that for the Cardinals.
Yeah, I got no complaints over what Sonny Gray's been doing. It is going to happen from time to time. You're going to get a blow-up game, and it's going to happen to most pitchers. I mean, you've seen it to a lot of guys. Scooble just gave up 5 runs in his last game. Does he suck?
We've beaten up every ace. The Cardinals have beaten up every single ace out there. It's going to happen.
Let's do it to him again tonight.
There you go.
On the mound, but I want to switch gears and talk about the offense from last night's game. Including a very veteran, a very team-oriented move made by one Nolan Arenado. We'll get into that next on Locked On Cardinals. Ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all of my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's really easy to lose track of where the funds go, and that's where Monarch Money can come in and help you out. Be your personal CFO and give you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money is not just a budgeting app. No. It is a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts. You can track your investments, your spending. Do it all in one place so you stop managing your money and actually start building wealth. And it's convenient and easy to get a lot of things delivered to the house. Do it all the time. I'm as guilty as anybody else, but sometimes you might not realize how much you're actually spending on all of these deliveries that are coming to you. So Monarch Money can help you out with that, help you budget smarter and save more. And instead of juggling the multiple apps that most people do, you just go to monarchmoney.com, check your finances, track your spending, and even plan long-term goals. And if you're married, it'll make managing your money with your partner smooth. Easy. It's great because it helps track your shared accounts. You can set goals together and just basically stay on the same page without all the stress. So take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONMLB for half off your first year. Thanks again for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen every day. You can leave your comments on YouTube as well as on X anytime you want. Your feedback is always welcome and encouraged. Thomas Govain from RedwoodRanch.com joining us again today. You can follow him at Thomas Govain on X. The Cardinals' offense has been one of the best in the league. It's been very steady. And up and down the lineup, you're seeing a steady attack, which makes a lot of sense. It's led by Brendan Donovan, who had another big night on Monday, hitting in that number 3 spot. Newt has been doing Newt things at the top of the order. He's been amazing there, taking walks, getting on base as much as he does. Mason Wentz, since moving to the number 2 spot, he's been incredible. Victor Scott II, wonderful at the bottom of things. But the middle of the lineup, there's been some shuffling going on, trying to, Ollie's moving things around, trying to find that perfect balance and chemistry, similar to what he's had to do in the bullpen. Early on, you had Wilson Contreras at number 2. Then he got moved down to number 5, and began to get a lot better. Ivan Herrera obviously has been a godsend when he's been healthy in that number 6 spot. And most of the time, it was Nolan Arenado as the cleanup guy. But on Monday, things changed. Nolan Arenado was dropped to number 6. Contreras and Herrera moved up to 4 and 5. And this was reportedly a request by Nolan Arenado. According to reports from our friend Jeff Jones and a number of other people, Nato told Ali to move him. Says, guys are playing well in front of me, or those who were hitting behind me, and they should move up in front of me. It was nothing more than that. Your thoughts on Nolan Arenado suggesting the switch and what this says about him and his role on this team in 2025?
I haven't seen actual video of Nolan Arenado's interview, but just look at the quotes from Jeff Jones. I don't think Arenado loves being interviewed. He just kind of stumbles over a couple of times.
It's not his thing whatsoever. He's not the most comfortable in front of a mic.
I think it's admirable. I mean, this is the second veteran we've had on the Cardinals now this year who has made a sacrifice for the betterment of the team. The first was Wilson Contreras in the offseason, moving to first base. It says a lot about that kind of leadership that we've been looking for out of these guys the last 2 or 3 years, to be willing to sacrifice their career betterments, their accolades, their future for the rest of the team. Arenado in 6 makes a lot of sense. He is on the wrong side of 30. He's been declining the last few years. It makes sense to move him down to the lineup. It's a shame because we all love Nolan Arenado. We're used to him mashing balls with the 500 slugging percentage. Like this is what we're used to. That's just not the guy who he is anymore, and he seems to recognize that. I think he's still going to try his best to get back on track to wherever he can be, but at this point, I think he recognizes, okay, I'm not a cleanup guy anymore. I need to move down. I need to let somebody else do the damage for me.
Yeah, he was very honest about how he feels like where he is in his career. He says, I just got to play better, play more the way I think I'm capable of. But he said, it's been a minute since I felt like I could play the way I should. So I don't know if it's coming back or not.
Yeah.
He's like, I believe that all is not lost. I don't know. I just feel like I've been in a rut for a little bit now, for a few years now. So I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, and I don't have the answers. And that's a hard thing for a veteran who's been at the level that Nolan Arenado has played at his entire career to kind of look at himself in the mirror and go, look, I've made these changes in the offseason, to try to get the bat speed back. I'm trying to do this and try to do that. I'm working my tail off. It's just not working. And maybe he's starting to accept the fact that, this is the downside, the back nine of his career, and he's not going to be able to be the hitter that he once was. And maybe stop lying to himself that it is going to come back at some point. And but it's not that he sucks. That's the other thing. It's not like we're talking about a guy who's hitting 150 and can't do it. Like, he's doing a number of great things. He's still an elite third baseman, which is just as important as what he's doing for this team offensively, in my opinion, because you've seen how good the defense has been so far this year with him entering the hot corner. But it's, I think it's great. Like you said, a great word that you said there, admirable, to be able to say, you know what? I'm not that guy. I shouldn't be batting cleanup anymore. And maybe he turns things around at some point, but if he doesn't, so what? You leave him in the number 6 spot where he's still a pretty darn good hitter in the number 6 spot. I mean, he's still got that name. He's still Nolan Arenado sitting there. So I don't think the days are numbered for Nolan by any means. But I think, we're starting to see that he's accepting the fact that, okay, there are some dudes in this lineup that are mashing. And that guy is Ivan Herrera, and he needed to move up. So progress, because I would still like to see Ivan Herrera batting cleanup, but we'll see if we get there at some point or another. The other side of it too is you're winning with this formula with these guys where they are. So I'm not trying to rock the boat too much. I've been saying that for about a week now. Like, don't tinker too much and mess up a good thing, right?
Yeah, baby steps, right?
There you go. Another huge night for the offense. 11 runs on 16 hits. 6 players had multiple hits, including Brendan Donovan, 3 for 5. He's now hitting 337 on the season, Thomas, 565 over the last 5 games. The inning that I felt was most impressive here was that 5th inning when the Cardinals got 3 straight singles to put guys on, and then they score 3 runs and don't even hit it out of the infield. Like, that was pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's just a slow knife to the chest for the Tiger.
Yeah.
Like, single. We're just going to knock it around a little bit. We're still going to score some runs. Like, that's the station to station kind of stuff that people get excited about in baseball games.
And it's stuff we didn't see last year or the year before, where it was like, that's where we were getting strikeout, pop out, fly out and it was over, and like the threat would be done. And instead, these guys, they're not striking out, which obviously is very refreshing to all of us. But putting the ball in play, putting it in spots, the philosophy of there's a time to slug and a time to hit. They've taken that to their hearts and they're using it. And that was just a massive inning because it really, made it a 5-0 lead. The inning and it just opened things up for the Cardinals. And then after that 34-minute rain delay, Cardinals pile on with 6 runs in the 7th to make it 11-0. One of those big hits, Jordan Walker, Thomas, 2-run double, a missile off that center field wall, 108.1 miles per hour. We've heard a lot about Runway with Jordan Walker and Nolan Gorman. This month, Nolan Gorman has 23 at-bats, 3 for 23, no extra base hits, 1 ribby, 7 strikeouts. That's not good. Walker, 5 for 33, 2 extra base hits, last night's double, game-winning home run on Saturday. Got 8 RBIs, so struck out 13 times, but he continues to play a very solid right field for the St. Louis Cardinals, yet to make an error so far this season. Is +1 defensive runs saved and outs above average. So I guess my question for you is, has the runway, because when you look at the stats and what's going on, has the runway run out on Nolan Gorman because the Cardinals are actually winning baseball games?
Yeah, you took my numbers there with the amount of appearances in the last. I made it smaller. I went down to the last week. Gorman's got 7 plate appearances in the last week, which is, it's bizarre. Like, we heard 500 all off season.
Yeah,
he's not going to get to 500 at this rate, honestly. And I think there's 2 reasons why. One, Gorman's not performing. His season average is 171. His OPS is below 550, right around 550. He's just not producing when he has been in the lineup. The other reason is that Ivan Herrera and Alec Burleson are going off right now.
Yep.
And those are your DH replacements or right field replacements. Since Jordan Walker also isn't doing well, we've seen Burleson out there. And that shifts Donnie to second base, which takes Gorman away. Ivan Herrera at designated hitter. Really, the only time that you're going to see Gorman consistently is if Herrera's at catcher. And that's just not going to happen with his injury, and you don't really want to risk anything else beyond that. So I don't know if the runway's running out for them or if it's just kind of like a pause in their consistent play. Was it 2 or 3 weeks ago where they said Gorman's getting these 3 games back to back to back to see what we can do. I could see that happening in the next week or so. Detroit and Arizona are good opponents, so maybe not these guys, but once we get into a couple slower series, maybe you could see Gorman getting 3 games straight. Jordan Walker is now a defensive replacement, which is not something that I expected at the beginning of the year. That's wild to see.
Yeah, nobody had that on their bingo card. Jordan Walker will now be a defensive replacement for people. Like, nobody saw that.
And then he'll rocket a double off center field wall randomly in the 7th inning.
Smoked that ball. And my favorite part about what we're seeing from Jordan right now is he's not trying to yank everything. He's like taking it to center and taking it to right field. And that's what he's got to do. Like, when you see how these pitchers have been attacking him going back to last year, everything is low and away. And then they bust him in because he's looking low away, and he just swings at it because he's like, oh my gosh, he's all startled because they came inside on him, and he tries to pull it down the line. And it's that whole thing. He's like, he's got to lay off the breaking stuff that is way too far outside. And then when they do throw something that is going to, catch the outer corners, he's got to be able to take that stuff to right field. And that's going to open things up for him even more. But the last couple of days has been hitting the ball pretty darn hard. So it's good stuff for Jordan Walker so far. Isn't it kind of funny when you look back at when we talked 100 times this offseason, you and me, like, what was the plan going into this season? Cardinals aren't going to be good. We're trading all our veterans, and Walker and Gorman are going to play every day, and none of that happened. None of it's happening.
No one's right.
Like, nobody wanted to be traded. Sonny Gray and Wilson said, no, shove it up your butts. We're staying in St. Louis. We want to be here. Nolan Arenado is vetoing trades. He didn't go anywhere. Cardinals are actually playing very, very good. Jordan Walker's good defensively. We're in a bizarro world right now.
It's backwards world, right? Yeah, they're winning. Like, nobody thought they would win this much. They're like a top 6 team in the league and wins almost. Nobody bottom 6 is what everybody would have thought.
It's been, and I'm so glad all of us were wrong. I've never been so
I love it.
To be wrong in my whole life when it comes to what's going on with the St. Louis Cardinals this year. Speaking of winning, Colton Wong, was a winner with the St. Louis Cardinals, was on that team in 2013. Just announced his retirement. We just saw Matt Carpenter retire officially to hang it up. We're starting to run out of people in the 2013 St. Louis Cardinals team that was the last one to make it to the World Series. We're going to take you back down memory lane and talk about these guys coming up next on Locked On Cardinals. Thanks again for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen today. For your second listen, check out the all-new Locked On MLB Game Night. Every game, every night, all season long. Get local analysis on a national scale. You can find MLB Game Night on Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Was up late last night hosting that with John Frisch from Locked On Angels. And it's really hard not to be all about the Cardinals on that show because I have to talk about everybody. And it's really hard not to talk about how good they've been playing and what they've been doing. Big news, though, recently was the fact that Kolten Wong and Matt Carpenter, two Cardinals that are near and dear to a lot of fans' hearts, both announced their retirements. You texted me to point this out that, hey, 2013 Cardinals, they're kind of vanishing out of the league, and it's happening really, really fast. Shelby Miller, Michael Wacha, is there anybody else still out there? Thomas?
Those are the only active players. Joe Kelly is still potentially wanting to pitch. I think I saw in the offseason he'd only want to pitch for the Dodgers this year. They have injuries at the wazoo, so maybe he'll get a shot. But right. It's Joe Kelly, Michael Wacha, and Shelby Miller are the only three left behind from that team, which is wild. That was kind of like the stage of my fanhood in 2013 where I really started to get into the stats and the depth of everything. It was the beginning of like the young homegrown core once again that we hear about in the 2010s. So it was an exciting team all around just to see all these guys going. I mean, you have just Dan Roscalzo on that list. Trevor Rosenthal was out there. John Jay, Matt Adams, like these are some players too, and they're just all gone. It's weird to think it's been 12 years. Like it's not surprising, but
yeah. But at the same time, it's kind of like, wow, time is really passing us by pretty quickly. Yeah, on that team that year, that was that big year for Carpenter with remember when he had like it was 55 doubles that year? Like it was just crazy. He was like a top 5 MVP guy. Like who the hell saw that coming out of Matt Carpenter? Carlos Beltran was there. Remember he was the big replacement for Albert Pujols, who had left to go to LA, and they were able to bring in Beltran. Yeah, he was awesome. Alan Craig was still healthy at that point of his career. Your boy Pete Cosma. I know you got a big Pete Cosma fan base at the household. Those are some names, man. 2013. Let me throw this one at you real quick. Matt Carpenter, red jacket worthy. I don't think anybody has any questions about that. Is Kolten Wong red jacket worthy? Cardinals Hall of Famer at some point down the road, in your opinion?
I don't think so. When I first thought of this question, I went to Edgar Renteria, who's going in this year, just to see. Yeah. They're both middle infielders, different shortstops, obviously harder than second base. But I think they had similar profiles as far as like defense first. And I don't think Wong is a case. When Renteria was with the Cardinals, he had 3 All-Star appearances, 3 Silver Sluggers, a couple MVP votes in there. Wong never quite got that high with his peak. His 2019 season was pretty good as well. He got a couple MVP votes in there and a Gold Glove, but that's about as high as he could have gotten at that point. So I don't think he's a red jacket. If there's a bit of a lull at some point in the late 2020s, early 2030s, I think that we might see his name pop up. But there's a lot of, Yachty, Albert, Waino, Lance Lynn, Matt Carpenter, like these are all guys. He's got to get past those guys first before he can really.
Yeah, as you mentioned, former first rounder. I know a lot of people will have in their minds him getting picked off at first base. But yeah, the defensive stuff that Colton Wong was able to do was outstanding. A couple of Gold Gloves for the Cardinals. And I just, I remember that there was like times where I would look at him and I'm like, wow, I was like, he's got a little bit of pop to him. And then you would see him like swinging for the fences for like 2 straight weeks. And you're like, all right, calm down, dude. Bring it back down a little bit. And I wonder if, there was less of that and more of just, taking what the pitchers were giving him. If he would have had a stronger career, ended up hitting 11 seasons, 256 over his career, 120 stolen bases, 86 home runs. But the 2 Gold Gloves, I think, is what is going to stand out to most people. Like, what was the best thing about Kolten Wong, and I think the glove was obviously something that stood out for his time, certainly with the St. Louis Cardinals. So congratulations on a great career to Kolten, and obviously to Matt Carpenter as well. I'm sure those will be guys that will be welcome back to Cardinals camps over and over throughout the years. I mean, Carp was basically a player coach last year. So, and if there are any managerial changes at some point and Schumacher or somebody else comes back, maybe Carp comes back in the fold at some point. We'll see. Big pitching matchup tonight. I mean, when you say Eric Fetty, you don't think huge pitching matchup, but he's been so good outside of a couple of starts this year. Going to be taking on a guy that's been pretty darn dominant. Might have heard of him, Tarek Skubal, AL Cy Young Award winner last year. Has got a couple of 10-plus strikeout performances in his last 2 outings. Going to be a tough one for the Cardinals tonight, but for some reason, you are not fearing what Skubal brings to the table tonight. Why is that, Thomas? Tell the fans.
We smoke aces. That's as simple as it gets to. Yeah, this is it. We're gonna hang up 4 runs on Skubal. They'll be out by the end of the 5th inning. It'll be a win. Easy peasy. The problem is he's left-handed and we can't hit lefties still. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, that's a thing too. I don't know. It should be a beautiful night at the ballpark. I know last night was wet and it got a little gross there at the end of the game. And I was like, dude, can we just end this? This is starting to freak me out a little bit. I'm waiting.
Graceffa needed to get out of there faster. I wasn't nervous, but I was like, it's raining. Let's just call it.
Yeah, can we get through this? I mean, the Tigers have already got a backup catcher in the game, and we're struggling with our real pitchers because it's pouring rain out. Like, I was glad to get out of there finally without any injuries or anything weird happening. So looking forward to another good game tonight and hopefully another Cardinal victory. Anything you're working on, Thomas, over at redbirdrants.com, you want to tell the people about?
Yeah, I've got one about prospects to keep an eye on who are not named JJ Weatherholt because everybody knows about him. And then I'll probably get something about the runway for Jordan Walker and Nolan Gorman, just to see where they're being utilized against which pitchers, when in games, that kind of stuff, just to see if we are actually pumping the brakes on their development versus other guys.
Yeah. Personally, I feel like it's okay with the Walker stuff. I just feel like Gorman's in a tough spot because he doesn't do anything at an elite level right now. With Walker playing as well as he is in right field and the Cardinals winning, there's no real reason to take him out too often. I know people were asking me last night, lefty starter, why isn't Jordan in? I'm like, well, it's a bullpen game. They're going to be swapping dudes out. Yeah. So and they knew that Skubal was coming up on Tuesday night, so he'll be in the lineup tonight, barring anything weird happening. So, they're not benching Walker. Gorman is just he's kind of a dude without a spot right now because everybody's playing so well. So it's not that they don't want these guys to succeed. They haven't given up on them. I don't want you guys freaking out about that, but Thomas will delve into that more at redbirdrants.com. All right, buddy, I appreciate your time as always, and thank you to all of you for being a part of Locked On Cardinals and making us your first listen every day. If you haven't already, give both of us a follow on X. You can find us at LO_Cardinals and at JD Sports Radio, as well as at Thomas Govain. We're on TikTok and Instagram at Locked On Cardinals. Like, subscribe on YouTube, making that push for 13,000. Lucky number 13,000 subscribers. So help our channel and our love for the Cardinals grow. You guys are the best fans of baseball for a reason. We will see you next time on Locked On Cardinals.